First example is a really interesting story, actually. Flight data recorders. Pri Prior to the 50s, pilots basically had an onerous task in commercial aviation, especially, where the co-pilot, flight engineer, whatever, they had to log critical flight data, altitude and the fuel and the direction and the time in the flight and any issues that come up, et cetera, et cetera. It was all done manually. It had to be done. It was done constantly, but it was mandated that it had to be handed in. It had to be recorded, right? For safety purposes, right? Around, the 50s, early 50s, the first flight data recorder prototypes were developed by Dr. David Warren in Australia for adoption until about 1958, where there was, an event, a tragic crash that was inexplicable. By the 1960s, black boxes, that's what we call these flight data recorders, became mandatory in commercial aviation. There's one example. The result was safer skies, faster investigation, and more reliable regulatory compliance.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Another good example would be accounting software for SMEs and mid-market companies. Prior to the 1980s, small businesses and medium-sized businesses sometimes relied on totally manual bookkeeping to generate reports, to deal with tax authorities, et cetera. They had to have accountants do everything. And then in 1983, Intuit launched QuickBooks. They, by basically democratizing financial management for SMEs. An accounting system. Also, an accounting system. But remember, once upon a time, there was no accounting system for SMEs in mid-market, right? 2000s and onward, now we've got the cloud-based accounting solutions like Xero, enabling like real-time reporting and compliance for businesses from sole proprietors all the way up to enterprises, right? The result there, automated generation of P&L, balance sheets, easier compliance, better business control, and massively simplified assurance and audits and tax reporting, et cetera. Right? There's another example of evolution. Right? So that gives us a pattern of system evolution, that when complexity is blocking progress, systems evolve.